Hello everybody, this is Oliver from Neo, and today we are going to talk about doing matcha with two different temperatures, one hot and one cold. So we're gonna go into the extreme of matcha tasting, and I want to see how the taste of the matcha evolves doing it once cold and doing it once hot. And so we're gonna take, for this experience, we're gonna take a Yabukita Matcha. So Yabukita is the most known cultivar, most known tea plant breed in Japan. So we're gonna take this matcha and have a look how the taste evolves from hot to cold brewing. For this, what we will do is that we're gonna use the strainer and the chawan. Chawan is just a tea bowl, matcha tea bowl, and we're gonna take 2 scoops each time, 1 and 2, using around 2 grams. The same we will do for the second matcha, using the same amount of matcha, and just sift it through. It's important to sift it just to get the crumbs out and having nothing disturbing in the tea, and to really have a good, that the powder dissolves good in a good way in the water. Good. So now we're gonna just take, for an easy way, we have our milk frother, and we're gonna just pour some cold water in the first one, and now we're gonna mix it. Good. Just glide over it, and we're done. Now, second one, we will take 80 degrees water, so 176 Fahrenheit, and just fill up the second chawan with it, and do the same. Much easier with the smaller bowl. Good. Just mix it good. That finally we got all the powder dissolved. Good. Then we're gonna take 2 glasses. So first the hot matcha on the left and the cold matcha on the right. Okay. Let's just fill it up. So it was a little bit harder to, as the chawans are of different size, to have the same amount of water, but just fill this up with a little bit more water. And now we are fine. Good. Both of the chawans well dissolved. What you can see, it's a little bit harder to be dissolved, the matcha. So a little bit of the matcha stayed with this chawan, while here you can really see, or I can tell you, that the matcha powder is well dissolved. But finally, there's not a big difference to be seen. But what you can see already is the first thing, that with the hot water, here you get much more foam, so much more foam could build up, while with the cold matcha you have less this effect. But now let's go really into the tasting and see what's the difference of the matcha in terms of taste profile when it's cold or when it's hot. First, the cold one. So I got a very sweet flavor profile. I have a strong grassiness. I have a lot of cucumber taste profile. A lot of cucumber, a little bit of spinach flavor profile. And in the back, I have a much more sweetness now coming in my plate, kind of really developing more on a sweet but refreshing kind of cucumbery note. This is pretty dominant in this one. So let's go to the hot brewed matcha. So I got much more of this kind of upper and higher tones of the matcha. First I have a little bit more of a citrusy note, so a little bit more of a slight astringent note as well. And I have a sweetness, but kind of a smooth, sweet, and then grassy flavor profile. While here I'm much more in the cucumbery, spinachy note, but low sweetness, but more on a refreshing note. While here I really get this top, fresh, citrusy, slight astringent, and much more grassy tones with it. So it's more fresh cut grass, while here it's kind of the refreshing notes of cucumber, which is the main difference between these two teas. Let's go again into it. So this is really the main difference. I also have a little bit the citrusy note, but much less, and I have a really refreshing cucumber spinach note here, while I got and I got much more of the creamy note as well with this. It's kind of the hotter water also led to a more kind of creamy, foamy, smooth texture of the matcha, letting it kind of develop more in these grassy tones, a little bit more in a citrusy tone, and I have a lot more of the umami, also a little bit of these sweet tones afterwards. I have much more in, while here it's kind of it's more around this cucumber refreshing tone, and it has a little bit of less of different notes in my opinion. So for me the winner here is definitely the hot brewed matcha, because it gives really the matcha a nice flavor profile in first kind of a creaminess, then going into a grassiness, and have a little bit of this citrusy note, and then letting way to a little bit more of a sweet flavor profile. While here I have directly a little bit of the citrusy note, then the cucumber spinachy note coming strong in, and much less of the sweet flavor profile. It kind of feels like that the warm water gives a little bit more space in the palate to really let your palate experience the different flavor profiles of the matcha. So this is the comparison of the same matcha, one's cold, one's hot. My favorite of today is definitely the hot water, due to the more complex and more variety in flavor, thanks apparently to the hot water.